Today I'm going to demonstrate how to use liquid resistance in designing a longboard or skateboard deck. And it should show or end up like this, or somewhat close to it, or however you want it to. It doesn't really matter. But the first thing you want to do is remove all the hardware, which would be like the trucks, bearings, and the wheels, which I had already done. And the next thing you would do would be to sand the bottom of the deck, but that's up to you. And a tip on how to do that would be to go with the grain of the board and just go back and forth instead of doing circles, because that will just ruin it. And then you're going to want to tape the deck to prevent unwanted mistakes when you're spray painting and everything. That's optional too, but I'd prefer to use that, but that's just my choice, and that's what I did on my other board. The type of tape I'm going to use is frog tape, but painter's tape works too. Just anything that'll keep the paint from spreading everywhere. So now what you want to do is just take the tape and just go all along this board here. Doesn't matter how much or how little. I just cover the whole thing to make sure that the paint doesn't spread onto this part, because this will be where you put your grip tape and everything. And now that I am done taping it, I wasn't really precise because this deck didn't come with grip tape on it, so I'll put that on later. And so just looks something like that. I mean, it's really sloppy, and I didn't really cover the sides very well because I'm going to just include it in part of the graphic. So it's just taping to however your heart desires, I guess. And the best thing to do would be to place it on the cardboard, just so it doesn't get all over your yard or whatever. And I suggest wearing like old clothes in case it gets really messy. But the next thing you want to do is choose the color of spray paint you want to use for like your design that'll show through. And on this board, I chose a bunch of different colors. So these colors will show through just like these did. So for this deck, I'm just going to use a black, and it doesn't really matter what type of spray paint. And the best thing to do would just be to make like lines, because otherwise if you have too much, it just isn't going to work. And I mean, it doesn't have to be exact. Mine's really speckled, so it'll show through the board kind of speckled, I guess. But it's not like it matters. So I chose black, which will show through. And I'm going to do a lime green. These spray paints were just whatever I found laying around my house. Nothing too special. And you don't want to make the paint too thick at first, otherwise it'll take forever to dry. So just do thin coats, and you can always add more later. And just make sure you cover the deck really good. But like I said, not too thick. And that's all I'm going to do for now. Okay, and now that you painted the deck with whatever colors you want to show through when you make your design, just let it dry thoroughly. And then you'll come back and you'll start putting the soap on. And now I'm going to take the dish soap and use it for the liquid resistance. And with this, all you want to do is just take it and make whatever design you want. With that one, all I did was I just took and I just sprinkled it everywhere. So, I mean, there's no specific way that you have to do it. And all I'm using is Dawn. You can use anything from like chocolate syrup to any type of soap. I mean, it really doesn't matter because it all comes off at the end. So for this one, I'm just going to do pretty much what I did with that one and just spread it. And with this, you want to make sure it's not too thick, otherwise it'll take forever to dry. And just do whatever. See how like this one got kind of thick? That'll probably take a lot longer than strips like this one right here. So for future reference, I would stick to the smaller ones. But, I mean, just do whatever you want. Like that. I think that's all I'm going to do on this one. And so, now you just let this dry. Before you let this dry, I forgot that you have to add the top coat of the spray paint to it too. So now, for this one, I just chose a blue. It was just something I had laying around my house. It doesn't really matter, but you're probably going to want your most dominant color on top, just so all the fun colors show through. So with this, just spray directly over the soap. And this you're going to want to make sure you cover the board really well with, because all the fun colors will show through where your soap was. And then this will just be like how that purple one over there is. So nothing too fancy. And it kind of adds more with the skateboards because now the soap is running down the side over there, which will probably take a little longer to dry, but it's nothing to worry about. It just adds more to it. So now I'm just going to go over and make sure that I got it covered well enough. And after you cover the board enough, you're just going to want to let this dry overnight, or however long. It could depend on hours to overnight, depending on how thick you made your soap. So now that we rinsed off all the extra soap off of the deck, you're just going to want to remove all the extra tape that you had previously done on your board. After removing all the tape off of the deck, all you're going to want to do is take any rag and just wipe right where the dish soap was. So see now how the deck goes from the speckled to something like that. Now that you are done with wiping off the extra soap, your deck should look a little something like this, more or less. I should have finished taping better up here just to prevent all this whiteness, but I'll just take spray paint later and finish that. But that is how you design a longboard or skateboard deck using liquid resistance.